That's your mood for this episode, Annie. 'Cause you were just like, I.
All right, keep moving.
Welcome back. So let's talk 30, guys. This will be our final episode in season 1. And we will be discussing dating the modern day woman. Okay.
Well, Lord knows we ain't going through everything today.
Yeah, so Annie will be taking us through and grilling us apparently. So yeah, let's get to it.
So, morning. Just a little disclaimer before we begin today's episode. The views that we share are based on things we have observed.
Push
I
through,
have to
Annie.
give a
Push
disclaimer.
through.
So these views are based on things that we would have observed through friends, family, and life experiences. Okay?
We're not necessarily
women-
talking about ourselves.
Yeah.
Not
Correct.
necessarily.
Our current times.
Exactly.
Correct. So within general, we have strong thoughts and ideas about how we think relationships and dating should go. And it doesn't mean that it's always correct, but I know that with this group we can say, we definitely are correct. So today I will be asking you ladies some questions about your views about relationships as modern day women, or as modern women in our 30s. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. So my first question is, what are 2 things? I'll say it twice. So I will just say twice. What are 2 things you want the most in a relationship? I repeat, what are 2 things you want the most in a relationship? And I will start it off with Shamora.
I know she's calling names.
For me, I think I would say, I don't want to necessarily say that is the most important things, but like up there, I feel like consistency is one. And I feel my second one is I always want to feel loved. I feel like sometimes that doesn't always happen. I mean, I feel like after a while too, being in long relationships and stuff like that, like you just get so used to the person that you forget how to actually show appreciation and show love. So I feel like always being able to feel love is something that would be very important for me.
But it's something that you'd be vocal about. Would you say, hey,
Girl,
I'm not feeling...
you really plan to grill me today? I feel like if it reaches a point where I think it is unbearable, then is when I would mention it. But just my personality in general, I don't really talk. And not saying that that's right, because it's obviously very dumb. Because then I obviously would be settling in situations when I could just say, like, this is what I want more of, or this is what I don't want. So I think if it gets overbearing, then I would bring it up, but it's not necessarily something that I would speak about generally.
Okay. Latoya.
Yeah, because you said modern day. Like, when you say modern day, I just assume you mean like, women now are working, and some of the traditional separations between men and women don't really exist anymore in terms of the man being the breadwinner and the home doing the housework and raising the kids and stuff. Like, it's like an equal trajectory now, like an equal playing field. So for me, the 2 things I would say would be peace and support. Like, I remember when you first asked me this question, like right off the top, I was like, I want nothing but peace. Like, I just want peace in my life. I want peace in my relationship. And because I guess now I'm older and I live with a man, when I get home on evenings, like some days I feel like I got the world on my shoulders. I ain't stepping into no house where me and you can't get along.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you're human, so you ain't gonna always be. We will have our disagreements or whatever. But just in a space where I know when I shut my door, like, I happy, because they got people in relationships that can't. They can't exist. Like, a man gonna come home at 10 o'clock because a woman sleeping. Not in my place. I can't do that. So peace is important to me. And then because of the equal playing field I was just talking about, support. Like, don't come around me if me and you working together and like we working both 9 to 5 jobs and maybe doing other stuff, and then you looking in my face every evening talking about you want food. Sir, it ain't gonna work. So just see me and don't see more child, because you have to have an understanding that we're both in this together. This is a partnership, and some days I can give you 80 and you can give me 20, but there's some days that I will give your ass 20 and you have to give me 80. And men sometimes struggle with that. So
That's true.
see me and don't see me, if that's you. But I mean, I got a man. But speaking generally, yeah. So those two things are very important to me now in my 30s.
Cool.
Leticia.
For me, it would be definitely communication. Like, open lines of communication is very, very important for me. Like, you gotta be able to talk about things. I mean, I don't love talking about things, but there needs to be the avenue to do so. Also, like, you better come to me with a little progression, sir. A little ambition. Please and thank you, because I'm going places. And, you know, you better be going places too.
Damn right.
So those are the two most important things for me.
You asking yourself these questions too?
Yes.
You got
So my two is similar to Shamar, what they want, but I need consistency. I find that a lot of men drop the ball. So there's all start off really hot and stuffy, as we say. And then as time goes on, there's like, you know, the camera pick up the phone to call you to say how you're doing. And, you know, I just think that's a basic thing. Obviously, it's a bit more than that. But generally, I want something that's someone's very consistent, that, you know, can feed into what my needs. And I need someone who's expressive. I don't know why, if I could say that's on top of my list, why it's on top of my list, because some people say stability, progression, which is all great. But I find, like, because I talk a lot, I need to express myself a lot. I find, like, it's very hard to not communicate with somebody that can't express how they feel. So those two are really what I want most from the top for right now.
That's fair. Yeah.
So what do you think are two things men want from women the most when it comes to being in a relationship? So what are two things
You start.
men want? Y'all heard the question, right? Y'all got the question on top?
What are the two things men want the most?
Hola.
Yes.
Listen. The one, a homemaker and sex.
Hello. That's on my list.
That's what you have to.
I have sex because
But wait. But what's your two?
sex and support. Which could be like a homemaker.
Oh, because they literally want a homemaker.
What is yours, Henri?
Sex as well and support. But I say that they want someone that they don't, that, you know, not nagging. I just feel like they're just too laid back, so they don't want nobody in the ear all the time, just, you know.
Why
so
all of you got the same thing?
Sex.
All of you got sex. Because mine was sex and loyalty. I feel like men always want loyalty. They want somebody that can ride with them forever and ever on, man. And even if them can't be loyal, they want you to be loyal. So that's the two on my list.
Yeah.
But homemaker, you said. Wait, homemaker.
They want people to cook, clean, wash.
Definitely.
I
Run. Sometimes, not all the time. So,
and what do you mean by support?
Support is just, it could be being a homemaker, but I just feel like sometimes men feel as though, you know, they don't get the support that they need from their partners. And sometimes that's because we had this discussion, men attach their value in a relationship to being a provider. And they're not always in a position to do that. And then a woman now who might be a little more traditional, who's expecting that, is not going to be able to provide the support that they need, even to be, as you said, to progress further, or just to have somebody to talk to. Is like, oh, well, you ain't doing shit, or you aren't bringing in the money.
It's true. You'll just lay on there in bed every day.
So even people. Yeah, so I think it's important to support them. But even that, like, sometimes you have to be a woman that has to understand he needs his time to play his games. Let him play his games. Like, we do what we gotta do. So I ain't saying play a video game all day long, but just allow him to be himself and support him in the things that he likes to do or needs to do to even stay sane. And then the sex thing, It's just a very unrealistic. Like, I think that's another conversation another day. Like,
So you mean every day?
Everybody said it, so y'all
Everybody
take sex.
said it. Oh no, I feel like sex is a whole different conversation. We might have to have an episode on just sex.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So you, in short, you think that it's unrealistic for them to think that we should want to have sex every day. We could just nip it a short little synopsis there.
And I think that's
what-
scientific. But again, that's a very loaded discussion. So, because we don't,
All
for a
right.
number of reasons. Yeah.
What do you think are two things women get wrong when it comes to dating men?
I
Y'all
can
still
start.
know to do everything right.
I can start.
Y'all
And
very
I have one, and because I think this is big and could include a lot of things. We communicate in a way that is not conducive to how men communicate,
Correct.
because
I love
we
that.
communicate with each other as women a certain way, or with family. Like, men are they're not very expressive. Those who are, kudos to them, but most of them are not, and we bring over things in a way, one, that it will come off as though they're supposed to know exactly what's going on in our heads. When most of it,
Right.
and we know whole things to the point of resentment. When it's, so then when we ready to offload it, he's just like,
Everything.
what? Like,
You
I
have
don't
no
understand.
idea.
I don't
Yes,
understand what
exactly.
you're talking about. So I think we have to be careful how we communicate with men. Even how Shamora was
Right.
saying, like, you don't necessarily feel loved all the time. Just, even if you bring it up, don't be like, you don't do, like, there's just a way.
Yeah, doing the
There's nothing
respectful
like-
manner.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
Because I
my
just had to piggyback on what you said. That was my one. But to piggyback on that, I think, as you say, we expect them to know or figure out what we're feeling.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that men as well, like, say maybe we have a tiring day, they have a tiring day as
Yeah.
well. And they also have issues going on. So I think we should speak up. And they can't read our minds and be expressive of what we're feeling
Exactly.
sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody has another point?
For me, I have withholding affection as a form of punishment. Like, I think that's wrong
True.
because
Yeah.
we would overdo it, as in, like, oh, you ain't take out the garbage today, or you took out the garbage an hour after. I don't want you to take it. Oh, don't touch me tonight. Like, we have to, and then sometimes you just overdo it just because. So using it as a form of punishment, I believe that is wrong.
And you find women do that a lot.
Of course we do. We absolutely do.
For me, I would say what we get wrong is I feel like we settle for potential. So we have an idea of a guy and we see that he could possibly be the person that we want him to be. However, he ain't there yet. And we just decide to just settle for it
Excuse me.
just because we could see the potential. But a lot of people don't want to act on that potential. A lot of people don't got the drive to act on it. So instead of us either trying to be that support so that they could reach all boundaries, I feel like we just settle for the idea of that person. I also think that we overextend as women. So
Yeah.
I feel that in a relationship, your partner might be falling short in some way or the other. As women, I feel like we try to fill that void rather than basically getting them to act accordingly. So I feel like we just try to overextend in every situation, and that might just be us as women. And
I was just about to say, the older I get, I just realized like women are like bomb AF, because even in doing something like that, like you say, and then like if I, like I can just do it my goddamn
Myself.
self. Like, and I mean that applies to anything.
Anything.
So and we always put that like women just always come through like no matter
Yeah.
what. And
Right.
as you said, like
Resilient.
it's overextended, but to me it's just like, I can just do it. Don't worry, like, I talk enough.
Yeah.
Like, I can just do it myself. But yeah, I definitely agree with
I
those
think-
two.
My second one would be prioritizing the relationship with a man over everything else. Just find that sometimes we be in relationships and you just don't make time for your friends no more. You don't make time for your family. So we have plans, sometimes we're friends well in advance, and then the man say, man, I want to cuddle you and watch a movie tonight. You can pick up your phone, go for it, and tell your friends, hey, I can't make it tonight. And I feel like men always make time for their friends. They always make time for themselves. And as women, we prioritize the man as the most important thing in a relationship, and we don't really remember to have a life outside of that relationship.
And I think too that's because Rashid was here in a previous episode, and he said people always think that people and things make them happy, and a lot of women are conditioned, or girls, to come out and believe like when you have a man, you have a partner, a husband, whatever, this is what completes you, this is what you should be aiming for. Men are not placed in that same box, so they live their lives in a very layered way, whereas we kind of think, oh, in a relationship, no, this is maybe like, this is my be all end all, I'm supposed to serve, and this is more traditional. So I think as modern women, at least us having our own discussions, we try to shy away from that, because I certainly, as much as I love being in a relationship, I want to buy Romeo all the time. Like, go and name your friends and just let me count on your dog too. I like to be home by myself, like naked as I bar watching TV. Just even if I ain't got a purpose, just like do your thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes the people that really cling on to those situations are at that way. They haven't really found the happiness within themselves. That was fine. And we always say, like, I real happy by myself. No fool ever. Like, being in a relationship is fun, but I just as good by myself. So it doesn't matter either way. So yeah.
Well said. So what then, on the flip side, what do you think men get wrong when it comes to dating women?
Oh, murder. No.
Y'all want me to? All right, I will start it off.
Amber, you start.
I think men don't realize that the small things matter. I think they always believe that you have to do a big, gesture or buy expensive gifts, or always got to take us out to a fancy meal or something like that.
Quiet, sister.
And I think that men, I do understand they don't always have money, but as I said, the small things matter. Why is it that
value to what they provide? It's society's fault.
Correct. So for my example, I love, I love gummy bears. So cheap. Why is it that, you can't just say, hey, babe, you come home and you just drop, the gummy bears on the table for me and say, you know what, I bought this for you. Like, that would make me feel so special. And I think it's thoughtful because, this is what I like. Mm-hmm. And they always say, so they would do that. No, they would not do that. But they would say, okay, I ain't got no money, so let me just stop home for these last couple of weeks or months. And we just say hi, bye, and the romance is not, keeping up, or they're not making me feel wanted or needed.
Man, I hope you're listening.
And sometimes the little things matter. Just don't say, I don't have the money, and then we just sit down there and just twiddle my thumbs and just, not think about how can I make Anne happy in the moment. Sing a song, write a poem. Like, Google has got so many access. You could put in Google, how can I make my girlfriend feel?
Jesus. I had a friend that had a birthday that was like, something, I don't want to say too much, I don't want to give it away, but she was just like, why you can Google like a way to do? I was like, sis, that man ain't Googling a goddamn thing. Like, these men don't think. That's another thing. We always think that they're thinking like us. That ain't Googling nothing.
But we Googling down perfect birthday gift. That time we notes saying that them say a year ago that them want, and we giving it them to my birthday coming. Cricket.
But you know what is do? I said this, I have a list and I send it. I don't mean I can't support people.
No man, I think
I don't like that either.
Get to understand men do not listen and pay attention. Really, that's just how they are. Very few. As you say, when somebody say they want something, even in passing, like the first thing is just go and put it in my phone and they'll be like, 2 seconds later, don't forget. So when my birthday, and this is something I learned, this is what I want. Just like, but like you have to meet them halfway sometimes. That's the truth.
But I don't agree. I just feel like I say too much for you to just not pick up on certain things I want.
Especially when
you as a woman.
That's what's annoying me. Especially when I doing it. If I put in that effort to make sure you get what you want, like you tell me a year ago that you want. Jeez, brother, just listen for 2 seconds.
We will
And then
definitely.
your birthday comes, and they tell you, "Happy birthday!" Exclamation mark. I'm like,
I'm reading something.
This-
this
this is the best you can do. Like my brother did that to me. I was just like, "John, come back in hours and write me something better than happy birthday!" Exclamation mark. Don't do that. So
But for
that's the
me,
first one.
oh, you have more than one. All right, go ahead.
We're supposed to two, but y'all, we can go around and do the first, and then we can come back to the second.
Well,
We don't have to.
one of mine is the same as what you just said, that they believe that it has to be something very major. Yeah. And the other thing that they get wrong is they introduce us to a lifestyle that they cannot maintain. Like, don't introduce me to nothing that you can't continue doing 10 years down the line. Like, that annoys me.
I got the
Like,
I
thing.
literally got that 30 things they can't continue. Just be a damn self.
Exactly.
But let me be devil's advocate.
No, I know you're gonna say if he does.
up front, like. So give me an example of saying that he started that, like a man would start but can't continue for 10 years or for any period.
Why the hell you open the doors to me at the beginning of your relationship and then 6 months down the line you can't open a damn door? Matter of fact, you're gonna go through the door and don't even look to see if it hits me at the back. So tell me, that sounds simple.
I was
That
gonna say, I
sounds
thought it was
simple.
something to do with like money or buying flowers and all.
no,
Something as simple as that. That
Something
is ridiculous.
simple.
Like I just feel embarrassed. Like if I just feel like when a mother is in teach one to like blow my
Nothing.
chair,
This is nothing.
Yeah.
where is that? And I always tell people, Tyrone, who's just a male friend that I have. When I go to the supermarket, Tyrone takes my basket. He will push it. When we leaving, he would take my bags and walk me to my gate. He opens every. Like if he could do that,
Wow.
yeah, I used to be like, you're such a gentleman. You mother
Yeah.
do such a good job.
Yeah.
As you said, the door open, and before I ain't got know to do so because it would hit me in my damn face.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
And honestly, I don't want to blame the parents. Viewers, we're not blaming parents because I feel like a lot of
mothers is being
no, man, I can't blame the parents. I feel like parents just try, but they can only try for so much.
They would try for a certain age, but if you call him out and say she vexed because I don't open she door. All right, well you could. I don't want to say come back home, but mothers are just very. When a son gets
When a
older,
son, yeah.
very dismissive of just forget that there was a young
A
woman
woman,
too,
yeah.
and oh well, forget she then. You don't gotta do all that. You mother gonna always like it's always be something that's kind of separate, as opposed to saying you need to open her doors. You
Yeah,
need
like, it's
to
ridiculous.
open her card. Like what? Like
Or at
should
least
be
it's not
normal.
like I didn't raise you like this.
Exactly.
I gotta be careful how I raise my son though, because little things like that I would drag you up for. Like you have to know how to treat a woman, even as you
woman,
say, like
yeah.
don't court me one way and then like don't do that. The
That's-
money thing, if it takes money, I understand people finances change,
Right.
but things like that.
Like, yeah, just don't introduce me to a lifestyle that you can't maintain. And it could be the simplest things. I feel like that's like a big, big issue.
And it's a lot of men.
I
It's a cultural thing about
I
it.
think it's
It is.
majority.
Yeah.
I think the teacher
outside of that-
something.
Yeah,
The teacher
outside
had the
of
same
that,
one,
I
and-
have not being in tune with their emotional side. So then they don't
That's
understand
as well.
us, basically. Or they act like if we overreact about everything.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
if they
totally
would be
get
in
that too.
tune with their emotions, then they will understand us a lot better.
And I just don't understand where
Yeah.
that come from. Like, and I guess that's upbringing too.
Society.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's upbringing. Men are raised to be that you have to be tough. So you don't gotta make my point. My second point again is expressiveness. I have to make the point of expressiveness. So I feel like what's wrong with saying I like you? What's wrong with saying I love you? What is the battle that men face that they feel like it makes them weak to not say or be scared to say I miss you today or I can't wait to spend time with you? I think men have this rigid understanding or definition of what society has told them that these characteristics is what makes it a man. And people should be able to admit and vocally say how they really feel without feeling less than a man. So here we go again with expressiveness. That's very big.
Let me do my two. I had lack of consistency, which we all basically spoke about, but just in a general way. And then I had not speaking out or defining their own expectations, because Man was sitting on yeah, cool. All right, you till the death of them. And then one day just like,
Explode.
yeah. And I'm like, sir, and I used to want, but I like to communicate and talk. I've been talking to you this whole time. Like, where's all of this coming from? Like, why are you coming at me? You had ample opportunity to express yourself to me. I provided the space. I did what I was supposed to do. Who are you speaking to? Like this, because it comes in like is a very big explosion, and they hold a lot, and I could never understand why. Like, why are you this way? I think we need a man to talk to.
Yeah. You can probably go part two
Yeah,
with a gentleman.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it baffles me as to why they hold in everything. That's not good. So yeah.
So I gotta bring a scenario to these people because I feel like a lot of women they battle with this as well. So, in terms of when you're dating someone, we like each other. It's 5 months into the courtship. Maybe y'all are intimate, maybe you're not. But y'all are hanging out, messaging, watching movies, all on the phone talking to each other. You cooking dinners for him. But this guy has never, ever said to you where this relationship is going. Should you as a woman ask the man where things are going? Or should you leave things as they currently are?
That's a serious question.
As I said, this time frame is 5. As I said, the time frame is 5 months.
5 months. So we in May. So that'll be like you start talking to this person in January this year, and so it's no May.
Go long,
I am very vocal.
Exactly.
Like I don't man I can't sport. Like every man I had to ask
So
me
you
to
are-
be his girlfriend. I don't man I can't sport. I don't just go with the flow. So people
So then
would
you're,
know from
so you're
meeting me.
asking.
Pardon?
So you're
As in
asking them
from
if they don't bring anything.
the thing is, I don't think because of how my personality is, I might not necessarily be in a position where 5 months in I have to say, wait, we together? Because how I set the tone is I'm vocal. I try to communicate. I try to
So
talk.
what is your tone then? What's your tone from the beginning? If we going out,
I mean,
you gonna ask me at some point?
Say in my 20s versus now. If I had to be dating in my 30s, I have no time to waste with no man. So I would say this is what I'm looking to get out of life, not just in terms of family, like career, those kind of things. And this is where I would like to see
But
myself.
suppose he might ask you, but he might ask you nothing
But
about
those
what
are
you.
conversations you have when you're dating. What the hell are we talking about? TV?
But I mean,
You have
as I'm
conversations
saying, y'all are hanging out. Y'all are
for
doing
5 months
everything
and I'm
else except
cooking for
talking
his
about
ass
relationship.
and doing all of these
Yes.
random things.
Yes.
Well, then you
And
got
you
me
never
wrong. I won't
talk
be in this
about-
scenario. Ask somebody else. Not me, sis. You gotta change that scenario. Tweak it a bit. Cause I won't be doing all that.
You know?
Letitia?
So,
Letitia is not in this scenario either.
You got to be. So you can just be doing all these
Going
things
on.
and not have a clue.
so what y'all don't ask? Why y'all don't answer the question that's being asked to you? Y'all can't put yourself in that moment. to
And
say,
in that moment, I
huh.
would have asked, like, what is this?
Yeah.
So Latoya would ask.
If
If
it
you
wasn't
had to
me,
ask, you
like,
would
and
ask.
5 months going on, then I would say, and I ain't saying I want to marry you tomorrow. Nothing is wrong
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
woman with defining your expectations and saying, hey, we've been doing this for 5 months. Should we talk about where it's going, where we want it to go? Because, I mean, at mom sits, if you're not on the same page, it's time to nip
Just
it in the
go.
bud.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
got time to waste for these Negroes?
I agree. I would ask as well. And my thing is, there's nothing wrong with just having fun. But my thing, I would ask.
Say that.
So that I would know how to maneuver after that.
'Cause
So
fun
if
don't
you want to
entail
have
cooking.
fun, and I want to have fun with multiple people, then you can't be upset. Because
Exactly.
we just having fun. But if you want to be exclusive, no, that's a whole different story. So I feel like you should ask. Even if y'all just having fun. It's only 5 months. As Latoya said, we ain't getting married tomorrow.
Right.
But at least we gonna know like where
It's
this
about
is
being on the
going.
same
about-
page.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ryu obviously would not ask, apparently.
No. I ain't
As a
fucking
modern
asking.
woman, I'm in your 30s. Be honest.
Listen, right? No, I'm not asking. If I had to ask, I will ask once. But I feel like that in itself is saying what it is. If a man really wants to be with you, I think he would tell you. I feel he would say to you at some point, I like you. I really would like to know where do you see this is going. You have a conversation. So if he doesn't ask me, I guess it means, yeah, like maybe he's not ready to.
But your scenario said you both like each other. So even if, so say 5 months, people get married in 3 and 6 months. So 5 months could be a long time. If y'all realize 2 months in that you like each other and you had an initial conversation and you realize it's progressing in a way you always over by him, he's over by you cooking for him, that you're doing things that, you know, signify like a relationship. You would just continue until he decides to ask you, or you just wake up a day and be
But
like,
the thing is not, yeah, but I say it's not, you know, just continue. I guess in your head you have to make a decision if you want, as you say, if you want to have the conversation. But me personally, if I'm asking, I won't really ask once. And then,
right,
I guess
but
if it comes
so
to a
you
point-
would ask just once. So I ain't asking 10 times either if I had that.
So then, based on what he has said, based on what he says, then you'd be like, okay, well, you know, I want something more, and yeah, we should see each other. Because I feel like this happens a lot, and people look for men to decide one day to choose them. They don't really realize as women that we have the opportunity, or we could just say we don't want
That
this
is
either.
facts.
Why is
That
it?
is
Why is
facts.
it that we always wait for someone to decide that they're choosing us?
And
So,
that's a
I know
cultural
people-
thing too. I find
Yes.
like people
People's
just be
way,
going on.
people is saying like, you know, especially like maybe back in the day, like, you know, I don't want to nag this man. If I keep asking this man where we going, or if I, you know, turn over the apple cart, he can think that I
Rush
begging to be with him. So let me just wait, and hopefully we'll ask. And let's hope people end up in things for 2-3 years you're going on, and you just don't know what
You
it is.
don't,
You
yeah.
just-
Funny enough, like traditionally and culturally, that's just how it was. Because even like my grandmother, when I first moved back, was like, "Toy, when that man gonna marry you?" I said, "Sis, first of all, he ain't to decide. It's a mutual decision. He's not the one that like he ain't to up and decide like, oh, I want to marry you." I used to be like, "Oh yes, please marry me." No, we don't operate so. So the hashtag here is modern woman.
Yeah.
It should
Right.
be, you have ongoing discussions about where a relationship is going and where you want it, where you see yourself in the future. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think it has to be one standalone conversation, but as you're getting to know people, especially in your 30s, you should be saying these things. You
And I
really
think
should.
too, if you ask as well, and the man tell you that he don't really want something right now, he's just having fun, I think that's more safe. I think you really got as a woman realize, believe that man. Don't be like, I can convince
You're
him
damn
more.
right.
I can do this more. No, just listen to that guy and really believe that, you know, well, he didn't want a relationship, so let me not try to see how I can trick
That's
him.
fine.
Go on to
Yeah,
the voodoo
yeah.
woman
She
or
could
whatever the
change
case is.
We as women is do that. We do. That's the truth.
All right, so that's all we have time for. I think to wrap it up, my last question would be, if a younger person had to come and they're starting out their relationship, maybe the woman, maybe the man, they come and ask you, you know, advice on dating or relationship, what would you tell them to do? Or what advice would you give them?
Don't come to me
In
and
how
ask me
to-
shit. Come to me and ask me shit. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Obviously, I feel like people need to make their own mistakes and people need to experience things for themselves. So I wouldn't really want to like push that vibe. But what I would say is very important. It was important for me, and I feel like it's important to any relationship. Courting is vital. Like everybody is in such a rush to be married, such a rush
Correct.
to be in a relationship. No, you need to court and you need to learn this person and you need to figure out, is this somebody that I could see myself with? Because
But that,
you need to court properly. I feel like people is just say, "Oh, we just dating, we just going to movies,
Who said
we
that
just
in there, baby?
haven't, we just having
this
sex,
point.
we just he coming by me online, we just that's no." You need to really learn a person. A lot of the conversations that I had courting in my recent relationship, I just feel like a lot of the conversations that we had, a lot of people don't have.
yeah.
Like, and I just be like, so what do you do? Like when you get to know people, because obviously now we're in a relationship. This can't be an argument,
Yeah.
because we've already discussed this in the courting phase. So I feel like courting is very important. There's nothing wrong with courting for an extended period of time. I just feel like it's vital, and like court properly.
What you define as courting? Just before boyfriend, girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think that period of time,
Is important.
yeah, is very vital in a relationship.
But then, yeah, y'all saying that 5 months, y'all supposed to know where we're going. Because that could be courting too. We're courting for 5 months. We're just taking it cool and we're just trying to figure
Well,
out.
then we would know
But
that
then
it's
we would,
courting.
right. We will both
You
be on the
said we
same
don't
page.
know
Right.
what it is,
That was a
sis.
defining factor. You
Don't
just
come
go
in here
along.
with Adi.
All right then. But, got me good.
I would really just tell them, honestly, you gotta keep communication. It's very, very vital. Like, I don't understand how people just get through a relationship without proper communication. And keep flamming your man or your woman here. You better keep things spicy and don't let things get too boring.
All right then.
It's true. Oh, shoot,
Trying to
boy.
be
I
PG-13.
old. But you can't let things get boring and routine. And I think that's where a lot of people don't follow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And piggybacking off of what Letitia was saying, I feel like in terms of consistency works with women as well. Because I feel like we always asking for consistency, but we have to be consistent as well. So we can't start thing and then can't maintain it either. So it works both ways.
Absolutely.
But our lack of consistency sometimes comes from frustration when it's just like, okay, this is what we're doing. Like, I ain't doing this no more either. Like, I feel like women just get frustrated to a point. Like, we are happy to do certain things, but then if you're not matching my energy, I petty like that. Like, I am. I done.
Tit for tat.
My two is one.
Murder.
My advice: one, stay true to yourself. In a relationship, just try to remember the things that are important to you. A lot of the times, men who might be a little more traditional, it's always about me. This is what I want. Even if I'm supporting you doing X, at the end of the day, what matters to me is priority. And women often sacrifice a lot on that basis, like trying to please and that kind of thing. Stay true to yourself and just make sure that you are financially stable always, and just you just remain grounded in what matters to you. And then I have to disagree somewhat with what Shimura said in terms of learning somebody so that you can decide whether you want to be with that person, because I think, and I am learning it now, you change so often in life. I think scientifically they say like every 7 years or something. You change so much as a person that sometimes it's not about how the person is presenting at that particular times. Maybe you have to identify like some of the core things about the person and go back to those things when you realize that you're both changing as you navigate life. And with that being said, know when to let go. Like, nothing is wrong with breaking up. We live in a society where people just like, oh, this is why he done, like this is a gossip, all kind of thing. But people change, people grow apart. And because we come from a culture where people like to encourage, oh, if you're with this body, particularly if you're married, like, oh, you have to stick it out. No, you don't always have to stick it out. You just have to have the emotional maturity to know, like, this is no longer working for me. The ways that we've changed, we cannot support each other in a meaningful way. So maybe we're better off alone. So just be very self-aware. Just be self-aware in your relationship. That's what I would tell a younger me or a young person.
I think that's the same. My thing was, and that's what Latoya is saying, don't settle. I feel like sometimes we know that things are not working out, and we kind of be like, oh, we're together for 4 years, we're together for 5 years. We can't back out now. But you're not happy. So I feel like that's good advice, know when to let go.
Yeah.
Nice. You done with me?
I am done, Danny.
Next time I feel like you never make that.
But we can bring it next thing. Yeah. So that's a wrap for the season.
Season 1.
Yep. So thank you again for taking the time to listen to us. We do appreciate the support over the season, and we hope that you guys will definitely tune in for season 2. We have a lot in store, and we really can't wait to share. You can find us on all the platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and you can follow us on IG at Let's Talk 30.BD. Always remember, life is too short to live content of the years. So if you're on your journey to or through 30, Enjoy the
Enjoy the ride.